Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. So,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
with your permission, shall we start?
Yes, we are ready to start.
Thank you so much. Divya, beta, please start.
Sharman. A very warm good morning to one and all present here. Great things are not done by impulse, but by a series of small things brought together. With these beautiful lines given by Vincent Wen, I, Divya Yadav, student teacher of B.Ed batch 2020 to 22, welcome you all on the seventh day of Personality Development Program, organized by Training and Placement Cell, Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida. Etiquette makes people comfortable and at ease. It shows that we value and respect others. People feel better about their jobs when they feel respected, and that translates into better customer relationships as well. So, to tell you more about etiquette and social graces, today we have Mr. Vikas Gupta sir with us, who will share his profound knowledge on the topic workplace etiquette and social graces. Mr. Vikas Gupta sir is an alumnus of Institute of Hotel Management, Catering and Nutrition, USA, New Delhi, and MBA. Sir have over 30 years of experience in the hospitality industry, covering operational departments, sales, teaching, and training and development. An expert in hotel systems and operations, Sir worked as a food and beverage professional as well as room divisions expert in some of the world top class hotels such as JP and Radisson Blue Hotel. He is part of the pre-opening team at Radisson Blue Hotel and have been involved in set up all the departments. Sir current aim is to share his practical knowledge and experience which he gained throughout these years with all upcoming new talents in various fields and help them become successful in their individual careers. We are pleased to have you on board, sir. Now I request Dr. Abhilasha Gautam ma'am, Principal, Army Institute of Education, Greater Noida, to welcome our guest of the day. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, dear Priya. A very warm welcome to our distinguished speaker today, Mr. Vikas Gupta. Most welcome you, sir, on this virtual platform. And we are very fortunate that you have once again joined us. And we are having a long association with you. AI is in a very long association with you. And we are again very much honored to have you among us and talking on this topic, workplace etiquettes and social graces. Nobody can be perfect than you to talk about this topic. And most welcome you once again, sir, from our entire AI family. And without taking much of your time, I hand over the platform to you.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. I will start with my presentation, so I'll just share my screen also. Please allow me to do that.
Sure, sir. Shubham, I hope sir is host now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
He can share, ma'am. We can see.
Yes.
Okay, I hope you are able to see my presentation now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So shall we start? So a warm welcome to all the students who are attending the session today. And in this next 2 hours that you are with me, we will take you through the critical things that you need for success in your career. So we start with gaining the competitive edge with business etiquettes. So in this 2 hours, we'll be covering these few topics that you will see now. One is the professional etiquettes. Then we'll be covering dining etiquettes. Nowadays, dining etiquettes have become very important. Cocktail parties also, as they are made for networking. Then correspondence etiquettes, office etiquettes. Of course, we'll cover a little bit on office romance, and a lot of us will be traveling abroad for their assignments, and we'll also be covering something on etiquettes abroad. So are we ready to go on this journey? So let's begin. So if you skip some of these steps that we're going to be covering, we say, are you, and you're certain to perform a mistake, which is the ultimate career limiting move. Start with professional etiquettes. In the professional etiquettes, the first thing is we usually when we meet people during our career, during our jobs, even when we go for interviews, we have one opportunity to make a good first impression. The first impression is always referring to the time that we see each other for the first time. Lot of times, the people that we meet will create perceptions about the people that they are meeting. So it is true as far as anybody is concerned. When we meet even friends, when we meet other fellow students also, or faculty members, or anybody in the society, at the first impression we make certain amount of perception about that person. So here, that is where we are talking about. You only have one opportunity to make a good first impression. Now, how can we make that impression a great one? That is more important. We already know that, yes, we create a lot of perceptions. So within 30 seconds, people judge your economic level, maybe from your dressing, maybe from the way that you're carrying yourself, maybe the way that you're grooming yourself, or maybe the mobile that you carry, the vehicle that you're using for commuting, or the style that you possibly, overall, whether it is the type of jewelry, whether it's the type of watch, etc., etc. Now, here we do not mean that you need to buy or you need to invest in very expensive articles. It is about being, the right fit, how you actually wear them. So you may buy the most expensive, but if you do not know how to wear them and how to match them, it doesn't work out. So here it is not a suggestion that, okay, that, if you're possibly traveling in a Merc, somebody may think that, yes, you are rich, but may not actually take you to be a good person overall, or a good, this, may not build that trust as far as taking any of the business dealings or things forward. So it's very important that how we dress ourselves. Then education level, yes, a lot of people are able to judge our education level in terms, okay, this is this person a doctor, engineer, or well educated, or maybe not very educated. So that also happens. Social position, level of sophistication, and level of success. So within 30 seconds, people will judge all these things. Within 4 minutes of that meeting, or that first impression, people will decide your trustworthiness, compassion, reliability, intelligence, capability, humility, friendliness, and confidence.
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to interrupt you. Sir, actually,
Yeah.
you are not visible to us.
Yes, ma'am. मैं भी ये बोल रहा
Madam,
सर इसमें नहीं है.
Yes, sir.
I understand I'm not visible.
Yes, sir.
Reason is I'm actually standing and presenting.
Okay, 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 sir.
I'm
Okay.
actually
If it is
standing and
intention,
presenting
if it is intentional, then no problem, sir. I hope
Yeah.
that you are not aware. Okay,
Actually,
fine, sir.
yeah. Actually, I am standing and presenting because sometimes I'm not very comfortable sitting and presenting.
Okay, sir. No
So
problem.
that is the reason maybe you are seeing a vacant chair,
Yes,
but
sir.
I am standing and presenting.
Okay, sir.
All
Okay,
right.
sir. No problem.
Okay.
No problem, sir.
Are first impressions lasting? Yes, first impressions are lasting. Made with emotional and not rational brain. This, you know, as far as the first impression, when you talk about your emotional and rational brain, the brain has left, right, which makes decisions, which makes those images for you. So these is not just made rationally. When you read it, it says there is some decisions that you make rational, but this is actually not made by the rational part of the brain, but made with the emotional part of the. Once made, rational brain seeks validation. Uh, of course, a lot of people do not want to change opinions thereafter. Once you made that first impression, it will take you a lot of efforts to change those first impressions that a person has already made about you within those few minutes that the person has met you. Labels help make sense of world. Then labels is in terms of brands and things that you actually wear and carry and all that stuff. So usually we should invest in some of the better brands, and in the what we are carrying, what we are wearing, even in terms of the pen that you're using, in terms of the stationery that you're using. So labels help make sense of world. Uh, then experience teaches us validity of first impressions. Okay, making positive first impressions. Determine the audience. In fact, you must understand whom you are going to meet or whom you're going in front. So determine the audience. So understand whom you're going to meet. Identify their expectations. Understand what they're expecting from you. Where in terms of that meeting, is it a formal meeting? Is it a casual meeting? Is it a cocktail dinner, or is it an interview? So you know depending upon what type of an occasion it is, identify their expectations. Now, for example, if you're going for a cocktail meeting and it's a very formal one, so most of us would be dressed in business attire. But if it is an informal one, it's a family gathering, right? Offices also have family gathering, family days, etc. So we're talking still in a formal setup, but here the occasion is different, or maybe it is a festival. A lot of times in the offices we'll be celebrating festivals also. So when you talk about festivals or a casual gathering like a family day, then we will dress appropriately, and we will not possibly take up business suits and business attire. So identify their expectation. You, again, please do not go in at such times in, if it is a casual get together, family day or a festival, then don't go in a business attire. Possibly you may dress in that festive mood, uh, depending upon the type activity that is being carried out. Of course, establish the objectives. Dress, behave, and communicate in a way that reflects audience expectations. So we've already covered all those points there. Uh, then we talk about the ABCs of image. So in terms of number one, A stands for appearance. It choose right colors, wardrobe, grooming. So depending upon our skin tone, the way that what color suits us best. Usually, for most of us, neutral colors. We talk about neutral colors like shouldn't be very very bright and uh, actually not hit our eyes also. So neutral colors like shades of blue, shades of gray, shades of white. So these are always good colors to choose. And you will actually see most of the business people actually should choose shades of blue, shades of gray, shades of white, and that's the most suitable ones. So usually plain shirts or solid shirts along with uh, light. I mean, so we may pair a light shirt with a dark trouser or a dark skirt if you're wearing, or even for that matter, if you're wearing a sari should not be too bright. We even in the hotel industry, airline industry, a lot of offices, the ladies wear saris, but they're very gracefully worn. They do not have too much pattern, uh, more to the solid side, than has too much of pattern and embroidery. So usually it will not have any embroidery for that matter, and the colors would gel with each other. So that's where, as far as the color matching and combination is concerned. When we talk about grooming, especially when we talk about hair and the face, for the ladies, we suggest do not overdo on your makeup. The makeup should be stubble. Your lipsticks and mascara and other things should be very light. We may do away with the mascara also and all that stuff. The a light foundation doesn't give too much of oily look, along with a a neutral shade of lipstick, which possibly gels with our skin tone, hair which is well groomed and tied, not falling over your face, and is well kept, right? Sometimes we may choose to, even if you having a long hair, you may choose to tie a bun also, which will look more elegant. All right. Next is behavior. In terms, B stands for behavior. We must be polite, helpful, and follow business etiquettes. Communication. C stands for communication. Be careful about our verbal, non-verbal, and written communication. Uh, when we talk about non-verbal, all right, non-verbal communication is number one here is referring to your grooming. So that is something that is always constant. Non-verbal communication is always there. We say it is always constant. It's always there, even if you're not talking or writing, even if you're not, you're just part of the team that is just there. Your faces, your verbal, your facial expressions, the way that you are maintaining a smile or the way that you're maintaining a eye contact. All these are also very, very important as far as communication is concerned. Verbal basically referring to the choice of words or the written communication. All right, so that's verbal. So written is also a form of a communication in which you're using words. Verbal is usually words that they are spoken. So it's basically one where you choose the word. Non-verbal is where there are no words which are used. Okay. Professional etiquettes, meeting and greeting. So when you meet for the first time, a lot of us would offer our hand for handshaking. So how to shake your hand? Okay, how to shake your hand is basically we will offer our open palm to the fellow person in front of us, to the guest or to the person that we are meeting, and we will shake hands lightly and not very, we will not apply too much of pressure on the hand. Yet at the same time, it shouldn't be very, very mild. Mild in the sense it shouldn't be very, very soft. So your hand should feel little stiff in terms of the grip, but not in terms of applying the pressure. So there are two different things. One is how much pressure that you apply on the other person's hand, and how much stiffness that you have in your hand. So your hand should be slightly stiff, yet at the time when we're shaking hands, we should not apply too much of pressure on the other person's hand. So otherwise it will become a what we call a knuckle cruncher. So the other person, you will actually break the other person's knuckle. And if it is and if our hand is too flaccid, the other word for when we say the opposite of being stiff, it is flaccid. Flaccid is when it is too soft, it has no strength. It actually means lack of trust. It actually means that you are maybe not interested. Please, whenever that you're shaking hands, offer your entire hand. Number one. Number two, it should be, vertical handshake. Our hand should be slight stiff, and we should not apply too much of pressure. And shake two times and then release. Okay. Know whom to introduce in a group. If you are more than, supposing if you're going from your office side and you have a team of people, so you should also introduce all your people. You should know how to introduce and whom to introduce first. Usually it is junior, senior. So we will introduce everyone from junior to senior. And of course, fellow workers to clients. A lot of times we will use casual words like ya, na, words like that. So eliminate slang. Please do not use slang when you are speaking to and when you are in such type of meetings. Then other thing is jargon. Now jargons refer to trade specific abbreviations or terms that you use in a specific trade. So in your own trade, you may have, what you call trade specific terms, which are abbreviations. So please do not use jargons, because I may not be from your same trade and may not understand what you're actually trying to say. I will have a lot of difficulty, and at times I may misunderstand what you're actually trying to say. So please avoid any jargons from your vocabulary. So we will eliminate slang and jargon from our vocabulary. For the meetings, always be on time, right? Always be organized and always ready, which means that we must be carrying visiting cards, for example. We must be carrying brochures, we must be carrying all those documents that are required, and always have gone through the agenda and the purpose of that meeting, and we are ready for that meeting. So we are on time, we are organized, we are carrying all required things, and we have already gone through the purpose of that meeting, and we are prepared with the reports or the specific discussion that is supposed to happen. Okay. Next is business networking in social solutions. Whenever that you are going for in social solutions situation, sorry, business networking in social situations. So whenever that you're going for social meetings, never introduce yourself using a title. Like, for example, I am Mr. Vikas Gupta. So we introduce ourselves by our own name. The best way is possibly use your first name. Good morning, or how are you? I am Vikas. So that is how you can introduce yourself. I am Vikas from this company. I am Vikas from Radisson Blue Hotel, Greater Noida. So never introduce yourself by your title. So we don't introduce ourselves using Mr., Doctor, Professor. So that is in a social situation. If you're wearing name tags, we prefer that you wear your name tags on your right hand side. Now the reason is why right hand side is when the two of you are bang opposite each other, what happens is the person actually has the vision on your right hand side. So that is the reason why we say it should be on your right hand side, on your right shoulder. In fact, if you look at since you're all from army background, you will look, if you see in the army, in the police setup, everyone is wearing name tags on the right hand side. And that is the reason, because when two people are face to face, the people tend to see on your right hand side. That is the reason why that we saying name tags should be on your right hand side. Keep your right hand free. Maybe that is for shaking hands or for gestures in the. So what we're suggesting: do not carry folders, do not carry stuff in your right hand. So try and keep your right hand free. Always be informed about current events. Usually that comes very handy when you are required to make conversations and possibly stay connected. So be informed about current events, because that is something that you can always take a conversation forward or strike a conversation also. Of course, maintain eye contact when you are speaking to people. So it's always good to look into their eyes. Now, please understand, we're not talking about staring. It is about showing interest when we say maintain eye contact. So it is not that to keep staring into that other person's face or onto the other person's face or into the eyes. It is maintaining eye contact that we're trying to say. So it's not like that we are, facing away from the person and communicating to that person. So it's like maybe you're turned away 45 degrees in angle from this person, and then you're talking. So that is what we're saying is maintain eye contact. That is actually face to face. Okay, show respect when you are in with your customers or with your higher ranks. Always use their right name, last name with the right title. So you will address other people. So there are two different situations. When you're introducing yourself, you will not use your title, but when you're addressing somebody, especially your customers or your clients, or people who are maybe senior in your rank, and unless and not sure about the culture in that company, right? Then we will always use the correct title and their last name. I'm not talking about your name, but I'm talking about the person who is in front of you. So you will always address them with their last name using the correct title. So it is like, for example, if you're addressing me, you will say Mr. Gupta. So that is how we say the right title. So correct title and the last name. Okay. Then don't keep customers waiting. They're always important to us. So if you've committed a time, please stick to that time. So don't keep them waiting. When the meeting is over, you should escort your customers, clients, uh, the people whom you're meeting. You should escort them out. Out means you may escort them. You may walk a few steps out of your office, up to their gate, up to their vehicle, and escort them out. That is what we're trying to say. So escort is a very good idea to escort clients, uh, customers, your people who come to meet you. Doesn't matter however junior they may be. Uh, it may be a good idea to escort them out. When someone of higher rank or from outside the organization enters, everyone in the office stands. So usually you will see that, at times, in fact, you also are doing in your college, whenever somebody comes to address you, and especially somebody who's of a higher rank from outside the organization, everyone actually stands. And junior employees stand until seniors sit. So first of all, the seniors will start sitting and the junior employees will thereafter sit. So if you're a junior employee, you will only sit after your seniors have sat. Okay, presenting business cards. Now, this is very, very important nowadays. We must be able to present our business cards and manage our business cards efficiently. So when you're presenting your business cards, always present your business cards using two hands, right? So it is like, with two hands in between the thumbs of both your hands and the first finger, you will hold your card and you will present it to your client. Same way, when you are, when the other person is offering you a card, you will again hold it in both your, accept that card in both your hands. Same way that we just told you how you will present. It is the same way you will hold it with your two hands. You may bow slightly when you're accepting. Same you may do when you are offering a card. So please understand, it is not a card. It is when you are exchanging business cards or accepting business cards. It is not like, you just flip a card out and then you just aim it at the person. No, it is not. That's not the way it is done. So it's a very formal event, and when you've accepted somebody's card, you must take a time to read it, right? Before you actually put it away, possibly in your what do you call, business card holder, or in your top pocket. So please remember all these steps. Number one, how to present a card and how to receive a card. It has to be done standing. Number one, you must stand. You must hold the card between your thumb and your first finger using both hands. It is done in both at both times, when offering your card and when receiving the card. The card must face up, means on where your name is printed, right? And when you receive a card, again you will receive it using both your hands, and will not just put it away, but you will first take a little time to read it. All right? And please show respect to the card that you have received. So you will not just put it aside, but you will again keep it either in your top pocket or in your business card holder. Okay. Also be selective when offering your card. You may not offer your cards to everyone. All right. So be selective when distributing cards as well. Then be aware of international card etiquette. So in different countries, this rule may change a little bit in terms of how you are, how you will be, how you are required to present your card. So international etiquette, if they vary from country to country, there is no single rule. So if you're going maybe to China, the rules will be different. If you're going to European countries, the rules will be different. If you're going to American countries, the rules will be different. So Asian countries have their own rules. And even from country to country, to vary. It's not continent-wise, it is country. So Japanese have different rules, Koreans have different rules, Chinese have different rules. So whenever that you're planning to visit any of the country, please read about the etiquettes that are being followed in that country. Okay, lunch and dinner meetings. Usually, lunch and dinner meetings sometimes can, you know, especially in the days ahead, you will go for a lot of formal lunch and dinner meetings. And formal lunch and dinner meetings require a lot of etiquettes and good behavior. So that is what we are going to be talking about as far as lunch and dinner meetings are concerned. Okay, if you are hosting a meeting, a lunch or dinner meeting, if you're hosting a lunch or dinner meeting, you must consider preferences of the guest. You must give them specifics. Make reservation and reconfirm a day before. So if you're planning to go out to a restaurant, it is suggested that you make a reservation prior to your date or of your lunch or dinner event. So make a reservation prior and reconfirm from the restaurant or from the hotel a day before that is my reservation confirmed. If you are again we're talking about that you're a host, arrive as a host, you must arrive 10 minutes earlier as a host for that dinner or lunch meeting. Ensure that the table is ready and meet your server, means meet the steward who is going to be serving you or meet the restaurant manager, whoever is there. So you meet them. So you are aware that who is going to be taking care of your table. So that is the reason why you should arrive 10 minutes early. So you're able to identify your table. You are able to speak with your server so that things can go right when your guests come. Okay. So once that has been done, you will actually leave that place and and move forward to the entrance. So you will actually greet your guests at the entrance and maybe not wait at the table. So there's a difference here that we're talking about, is not waiting at the table. You will be actually waiting at the entrance for the guest and you greet your guests at the entrance. And then guests will start walking down the uh, hallway, which is known as a aisle. The guests, of course, will get seated first and may get the best seats, and you will seat yourself to their left. So that is as far as the seating is concerned. The next is when they are choosing to eat. All right. So maybe you can advise your guests, offer menu advice to the guest. You may offer to order easy to eat food and at least limit drinks for yourself. So easy to eat foods means there are some foods which may be very difficult to eat, maybe too large, may not be able, you may not. So that is in terms of food which are easy to eat. So and limit the drinks. Drinks, some people may enjoy more drinks. Drinks, especially we are talking about cocktails and hard drinks or beer or wine. So at least for as a host, you must limit drinks for yourself, and so that you can take care of the entire situation. So you don't actually, as a host, you do not actually get drunk. When you receive an invitation, we advise that you promptly reply to that invitation. So if somebody has made sent you an invite for a dinner or a lunch as a guest, you must promptly reply to the invitation if you are available or not available for that uh, lunch or dinner meeting. Once you have confirmed, please do not cancel that meeting. Cancel only on if you have very urgent business. As a guest, be on time. Call restaurant, send message to host if late. So if in case only in very again if you're very on very urgent it is very urgent, then you may be late for the lunch or dinner meet. But in case you are expected to get late, please send out a message either to the host or to the restaurant that you are expected to be late. In case you arrive before the host, you may sit at the table but may not eat anything. You may drink water until the host arrives. So it's not that I have come first, I'll start, or I'll maybe start eating something, or maybe I'll order something for myself. Even if I'm feeling hungry, I'll still wait for the host and the other guests to come. Yes, I may choose to drink some water if that be the case. Okay, given a chance of choosing a dish from the menu, we expect you not to order the most expensive item. बहुत सारे लोग क्या करते हैं कि हम सबसे महंगा आइटम ढूंढने की कोशिश करते हैं और then we want to order the most expensive item uh, from the menu card. So never order the most expensive menu item. Yes, maybe it is moderately priced. You should try and order something like that. When the bill is being presented, what happens is when the restaurant staff will present you the bill, a lot of people have a tendency to look over how much has the bill come or whatever. So please take no notice of the check. The bill is referred to check here. And do not offer to leave a tip. So which means a guest, you are a guest, please do not offer to leave a tip. It is the host who will leave the tip. So the person who is the host, who has invited you, he is the host, he or she is the host. He or she will pay that bill, and he and she will leave the tip for the wait staff. So that is another etiquette that we must follow. We must not take any notice of the bill or the check, and we must not offer to leave a tip. It is the host who will pay the bill and leave a tip for the wait staff. And never forget to thank your host for the lovely lunch or dinner. Okay, how to start a lunch or dinner meeting? Stand on the right of your chair and enter from your left. All right. So that is how you will seat yourself in the restaurant. So you will stand on the right side of your chair and enter from your left. The napkin that is there on the table, which is there in the restaurant table, it will go on your lap. So you will unfold that napkin and put it on your lap. Now, toast here refers to maybe a wine or a champagne, which is usually served to everyone for toasting. Toasting is referring to here, the common word that we all hear is cheers. So you raise your glass and you toast to the success, and that is why we toast, or usually that is how we sometimes we will start. We will toast to a success of a person or success for the future, so that blessings can be gained by everyone. So that is where the toast may be offered before eating and maybe after dessert. You may celebrate even after you finished your dinner or your lunch. So you may do a toast before you start eating or after you have finished eating. And both of these, in both the situation, it is initiated by the host. It is the choice of the host whether it is going to be at the start or at the end. And in both the situation, it is initiated by the host. And the toasted party does not drink to himself. It actually refers to, as a host, you will usually not drink to themselves. It is to people, to the somebody else. So that is what we say. Toasted party will celebrate the success of somebody else. So toasted party doesn't drink. So as Vikas Gupta, I will not drink to myself. I may drink to Dr. Tiwari. So that is what we are trying to say. Toasted party doesn't drink to himself or herself. Okay. When you need to pass anything, you usually will pass from right and do not help yourself first. Okay, we will also show you a practical small demonstration as well, so that you can actually understand what we are talking about. So we'll just in a couple of slides later, we will also show you what we are actually talking about. Decide on your menu selections quickly. Again, order medium price foods. Think about the mess factor in terms of the dishes which will not create mess while eating. Maybe a lot of dishes with a lot of gravy, dishes which are a little difficult to handle. Uh, you must think about that mess factor. We're not here to create a mess on the table, or maybe a mess of your uniform or your dress. So usually you'll have gravy falling all over or all that stuff. So think about the mess factor. Usually you should choose foods which doesn't come with too much of gravies and all that stuff, so it doesn't create too much of mess. Possibly until unless the host has chosen to host a cocktail party, please do not order alcohol. And a lot of people would want to share, especially the dessert is a big portion, etc., etc. Of course, you may leave what you do not eat, but do not share a dessert. So it shouldn't be the an idea like, okay, let's the two of us, let's order one dessert. So everyone will order an individual dessert, and we don't share dessert. All right. Again, these are some points which are getting repeated. Put your napkin on your lap. Wait for all people to be served before you begin. So everyone gets the food, and then you start eating. So we must wait for everyone to get served before you actually start. It is also acceptable before you start to say a prayer. So in if it is if it's a custom to say a prayer, it is an accepted practice. You can say a prayer, be quiet, fold your hands, and once the host gives you a signal, you can start. So everyone gets the food. Thereafter, once everyone has got a food, if it is customary to say a prayer, and thereafter start eating. All right. Once you start eating, you should know what cutlery to start eating with. So we will also tell you how the cutleries are set up on a table. Uh, of course, cut your meat one bite at a time. We'll also tell you how you will be handling your cutlery in terms of your fork and knife, and how you can cut your food using knife and fork bite by bite. As far as breads are concerned, you will see on your left hand side there's a bread basket. It has a lot of breads. So a lot of times when you go and I'm sure you would have dined, especially with soup and bread rolls. So a lot of people will pick up a bread, cut the roll into half, apply butter. No, that's not the right way. The right way is to break off a small part of that bread and apply little butter, and you eat it. So that is how you actually eat bread when we talk about that. So you don't just pick up a bread roll, or in other words that you may also refer to as a bun. So you cut it into half and you apply butter in between. No, that's not the way it is done. You actually break it, small part of it, apply little butter, and you eat. So break off small bites of bread and butter only one bite at a time. Uh, we'll show you how you will hold wine glasses, and if you are in any case of any difficulty, anything that you are not able to, you you may not understand a few things, or you've forgotten a few things. So what you can do, you can follow what the host is doing. So you can copy the host. So in case of any confusion, in case of anything that you need, you feel that you're not doing right, you can always follow the host. So take cues from the host. If in doubt, watch and copy. So you can just look at what the host is doing and you can just copy your host. Okay, drinking soups. Soups can be tricky when you are drinking soups. In terms of, a lot of people blowing onto the soup and the soup also falling here and there. So that can also be tricky. So you will notice that the soup is always served in a large flat dish most of the places. And the spoon that we will be using for the drinking soup or eating soup is actually a wide spoon. So it offers a lot of surface area to cool the soup. So usually we will not blow onto the soup. So we will actually allow the soup to little cool down, and we will dip the spoon into the soup dish, and you will move away from your body and then bring the spoon to your mouth, and you will not actually bend your body towards your food. So we say the food comes to you and not you go to the food. So you will maintain your posture sitting on the chair. You may lean slightly inward. Slightly means maybe about 5-10 degrees, and you bring the food to your mouth and not your mouth to the food. All right. And once you are finished, there are two ways. If it is a large plate, you can leave the spoon in the plate, in the soup bowl, or in case it's a small soup bowl, then you will rest your spoon in the plate that is given to you with the soup bowl. So we'll just show you all that stuff. Just give me 5 minutes. We'll just go through these points and we'll show you all that stuff. Okay, with salads, eat salads with fork. Use knife only as a last resort. So this is salads. You should actually try and eat salads with a fork only, and we'll show you how to, once you finish, how to leave the utensils on the plate at 10-20 position. Okay. For desserts, we'll show you how the utensils or the cutlery is usually laid out by the restaurant staff, and how to slide the utensils down from top as a dessert is served. Usually the wait staff will may slide the cutlery from the top. Otherwise, you may actually slide that cutlery from the top. Okay, before we discuss this, let's try and show you what we have as a table for you. Okay, I'm not sure what you are able to see. I'll just stop sharing my screen. Are you able to see something here? A table?
Yes, sir, we can see the slide and you right now.
Okay, I am, just give me a minute. Okay, now you're not able to see. Okay, now you'll be.
Yes, sir, we can see that. Yes, sir.
All right. I think now you're able to see a table here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So on the table, you will be seeing on one side there are glasses, right? On one side there are spoons. On one side there is a fork. In between there is a plate. Okay. So I'm just removing this plate. Usually this plate is not there. Instead, there's a napkin which is here, and the napkin. Okay, so we have a napkin here, right? So this napkin, which is it can be in any fold. This I've just made one fold here. So you will remove this napkin, all right, and you will put it on your lap when you're sitting, all right. So you can actually even unfold it completely and put it onto your lap when you're sitting. So that's where your napkin will go, and this place will become free. Okay, so what you see here, this is what we are saying, your dessert. This is for your dessert. And when the wait staff has laid the cutlery, you will notice the cutlery, the names of the cutlery which start with which has 4 words like fork, Fork, are on your left hand side. And the cutlery which have 5 letters like knife, Knife, spoon, Spoon, are on your right hand side. All the 5 letters go on your right hand side, and all your 4 letters go on your left hand side. And the cutlery is actually laid from outside to inside. So this cutlery which is laid on the outermost sides, on the both left and right, are the cutlery which is supposed to be used for the first course of your meal. So if the host has planned for the soup first, so you see the soup spoon is on this side, and I will again show you the difference between a soup spoon and a spoon that is used for eating foods like with gravies, right? So you will see this is flat and is shallow. That is what I'm trying to say. See, when you are drinking or eating soup out with this spoon, the soup will actually get cooler because it will get a lot of surface area. Okay, so if I am not serving soup first, maybe I'm serving a salad. So I will put a knife here first and a fork here, which is for your salad, right? And this fork is for your main course. So this is for your salad. So we will pick up this curry, which is on the outermost side. This is the cutlery for your first course, right? If I am serving a salad first and then a soup, so this, you will see your table will actually look like this. So this is your cutlery for your first course. This is your cutlery for your second course. All right. So in terms of and the cutlery for each course will get cleared as soon as your course is over. Courses means, you know, we serve food in a very systematic manner. So appetizers, in terms of foods which are able to whet your palate, make you feel hungry, are served first. Usually smaller portions like soups, salads are usually served at the start of the meal, and thereafter you call them entrees, which are the main course. In French, they are known as entrees, and then usually finished by the dessert. And this is where the cutlery is kept, which is on the top of the cover. Okay, so a soup, that is what we are saying. A soup will come to you like this. So this is a soup bowl, and this is a plate which is works as an underliner, and it will come to you like this. All right. So when drinking soup from the bowl, we will take soup like this and move it away from us. So you're sitting on this side, and you will move it away from us, possibly wiping the spoon from the side of the bowl. So it will actually not drip soup when it comes to you. You will pick it up, you will dip the spoon like this, pick up the soup and wipe it maybe with the from the edges and bring it to your mouth. You will not go down to the soup. And only for the last bit of the soup, you may turn the bowl like this. You can collect the soup again away from your body. In the same manner, you can collect the last of your soup like this. So you will not drink out of the bowl, the last bit of the soup. All right. Holding wine glasses. Now this is a champagne flute. This is a white wine glass. Okay. This is a red wine glass. So red wines and champagne are served colder. Red wines are served little warmer. Warmer means the temperature is little higher. Now doesn't mean that we heat them up. Red wines are usually served at a temperature of about 10 degrees centigrade as far as red wines are concerned, and champagne is served at about 4 degrees centigrade. White wines are served between 6 degrees to 8 degrees centigrade. So 10 to 12 for red wines, 4 degrees for champagne, and about 6 to 8 degrees for white wine in centigrade. So red wines are served slightly warmer as compared to white wines. Holding a red wine glass, that is how you will hold a white wine glass from the stem. Okay, you will not hold white wine glass or champagne glass with the bowl like this. Okay, so it is held from the stem. Whereas a red wine glass is held by the bowl and not by the stem. So that is the difference between as far as the red wine glass is concerned and as far as the white wine glass is concerned, and also for the champagne. Champagne is because it's being served cold. Again, you will use the stem to hold the glass. All right. This is called a cruet set. A cruet set consists of both a set of pepper and salt. So it's whenever that you require to pass it on, it goes as one. So it doesn't go individual. So it is passed as a set. All right. So this is as far as a few things that are here that we are telling you. Now, once you've finished your food, so we say that you've finished your soup, you've finished your main course. So your main course was served in a dinner plate. This is also gone. Your cutlery anyway has all gone because you finished everything, right? So what happens is dessert cover comes down like this. Okay. So again, fork, F-O-R-K, 4 letter on the left, S-P-O-O-N, spoon, 5 letters on your right. This is a butter knife. This is called bread and butter plate. So if you are served bread, you will break a small piece. You will use this knife for putting butter on the piece of bread you've broken, and you will eat that bread. Okay, so we come to the, I will again share my screen with you.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Now, I am actually trying to share my presentation with you. The presentation is no longer visible, so I'm looking for that option to share it with you. Okay, just give me. Is
Sir,
it
presentation
visible,
is visible.
sir, visible
okay?
lunch dinner, difficult foods.
Okay, it's on anyway visible. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay. So as far as when we talk about some difficult foods, these may be difficult because you may not be able to manipulate them with knife fork. Okay. So you may eat asparagus with fingers unless it is in a sauce which makes it little messy. If it is a sauce, you may then use a knife and fork, and we will also show you how to use a knife and fork. Uh, a bacon is a piece of meat which comes from pork. Uh, Till unless it's very crispy, the crispy bacon may not be able. You may not be able to cut it with your knife. So, and you may not be able to hold it with your fork as well. So you can actually eat crispy bacon with your fingers. You know, what we are only trying to suggest here is there are some foods which are little difficult to eat. We must be able to use our hands. We are permitted to use our hands when it's very difficult to eat that food. So it's not that we are always suggesting that you must eat all your food with knife and fork. So you can eat certain foods with your fingers, like French fries. So these are finger foods anyway. So you can eat French fries with your burger. Pastries, you can try and cut them into smaller pieces and then maybe eat with your fingers or fork. There's a grapefruit. Grapefruit is a larger version of your sweet lime, right? So it's a very big fruit which is comes from the citrus family. Grapefruit. In case you serve something like that, you can eat it with a spoon, and whatever juice that comes, you can leave it. Lemon wedges, when you need to use lemon to squeeze onto your dishes, you can squeeze over your dishes using your hands and using a fork. So so you actually take a fork in your right hand, and uh, the lemon wedge goes onto the fork. I'll show you how it goes, and then you just squeeze a little bit of that lemon. In case it is tied in a cloth, usually some of the finer restaurants will tie it in a cloth so that no seeds come out of it. Okay, so that you just use your fingers to squeeze the juice out of it. Pasta, especially like uh, flat pastas, long flat pastas like spaghetti, you will use your fork to eat that pasta, and you cut it with your we'll show you anyway how to eat pasta because it's difficult. You need to twist or drill onto that fork, and you keep rotating your fork on the pasta so that pasta gets rolled onto your fork, and then you will cut it using your knife, and then you will eat it. Okay. Potatoes, you can eat potatoes with fork. So usually in continental food, you may be served a whole jacket potato, or maybe a scoop of potatoes, mashed potatoes like that, and you can actually eat it with a fork. And anyway, these are not required to be cut. Okay. All right. Uh, Placing or sitting. Once you're sitting, you can see that I'm sitting. So you will not place elbows, like this on the table. So you may rest uh, your forefingers or your wrist onto the table, but not your elbows. If in case you're carrying a mobile phone, nowadays everyone is carrying a mobile phone. The mobile phone goes in your for ladies, it goes in your handbag, and for gentlemen, it goes in your pocket. And please do not use mobile phones while dining. In case you need to urgently attend to a call or whatever, please excuse from the gathering, move out from the table, and then speak on the phone. So you must be what you call courteous to excuse yourself from the table and take a call in case it is very necessary. You may also look at either lowering the volume of the ringer, uh, uh, or maybe putting it on the vibration mode so it doesn't disturb. So we will not possibly use mobile phone while we on the table. Salt and pepper, we already said. Please, when it is required to be passed, pass it as both as a complete set. And as soon as you receive the food, there are some people who have a habit of adding salt and pepper without tasting the food even. So we will not do that. We will first of all taste the food and judge if it requires any salt and pepper before we start to add any salt and pepper to the food. So we will not any salt and pepper just as soon as we receive the food. We eat it, we will taste it, and then decide if it requires some salt and pepper. We will not talk with our mouth full. Drinking, we will not drink when there's a lot of food in our mouth, because what's going to happen? Some of the food particles will come into our glass. So we will not drink with food in our mouth. So once we have eaten the food in the mouth, then we'll take a sip of the drink or water that we need. What in that case, you will not use the cutlery to make any gestures or point cutlery to other fellow team members. All right. You may not, you know, stack plates when at the end meal, which means you want to put one plate over another plate. So that the wait staff will do. You will not do it. All right. So we already discussed about this point, answering or placing cell phone calls at the table. Uh, okay. You will possibly not dip anything into your coffee or your water. So dunking means dipping like a biscuit or a cookie or anything. So you will not dip anything into your coffee or water. So if you get if you get a cookie, you will bite into that cookie. You will take a sip of your coffee, but you will not avoid dipping that cookie or biscuit into that coffee. Um, in case something has gone wrong from the restaurant staff, you may not, it's not advisable you make too much of fuss about it. You may try and resolve it in an amicable manner. It may be only in case if the restaurant people are not behaving in a right manner, then you may try and resolve it. Still, we would suggest that you actually try and resolve it in an amicable manner. Not create too much of fuss, just in case something has slightly gone wrong or the orders have gone. If you can adjust with it, very good. Otherwise, you can always ask for a replacement. Uh, Arranging your hair, combing your hair, or redoing your hair, or applying makeup at the table. In case if you feel that you need to rearrange your hair or make up your hair or apply some make apply some makeup, you may excuse yourself from the table and maybe use the washroom for arranging your hair or doing your makeup. Using toothpicks. So a lot of people, the food gets at the between your teeth, so that is where we need to use toothpicks. Avoid picking your teeth at the table. So maybe you can move to the washroom, or in case you need to pick your teeth, which is sometimes unavoidable, you should cover your mouth like this and then use a toothpick. So it shouldn't be like this. A lot of people will just, it's an open show. No, it's not going to be an open show. You will cover your mouth like this, and maybe you may then use a toothpick thereafter. All right. Uh, Asking for a packing bag. So asking the wait staff for a packing bag. So can you get me a box? I want to carry something which is leftover, whatever. So please do not ask for any packing bag to carry away leftover food. Okay. This is we have anyway shown you as far as the meat, the how crockery and cutlery is placed on your table. So you on the right hand side different types of spoons and knives, which are again 5-letter words. On the left hand side are different type of forks, depending upon the type of dishes that they are planning to serve, which are 4-letter words. Here are 5-letter words. You have a dinner plate in the middle. On the on the top of the knives, you have wine glasses, water goblets, and on top of the main plate, you have your dessert cover. And on top of the fork, you can see a bread and butter plate with a butter knife. Okay, so that is how a wait staff or a formal restaurant will lay out your table. So if you see something like number six is a is a is a fork for salad, right? And on number 13 is again a fork, right? So maybe they are trying to serve you a pasta or something like that. That is the reason why that has been kept like that. And then number 8 uh, is a fish fork. So fish fork looks a little different from a sorry, fish knife. I'm sorry, fish knife. Number 8 is a fish knife. A fish knife uh, has got a point on the top to help you to remove bones and flesh. So that is the reason why it is little different shape uh, than the other knives. So if you see the difference between 9 and 8, you will see the fish knife number 8 has got a pointed top. So this is in practical what happens is the first cutlery that you will use is number 6 and number 13. Then you will use 7 and maybe 12 is not required. Then you will use 8 and then maybe with 12, 9 with 11. So that is how from outside to inside you will use your cutlery. So it has been laid as per the type of food that they have planned to serve. So it is the cutlery that is laid is appropriate for each course of meal that the restaurant or the wait staff has uh, decided to serve to you. So that and you will use it the outermost cutlery first, and you will not pick cutleries from the middle or from the last. Okay, so these are different type of silver. Some extra points: do not eat with your mouth full. Keep one hand in your lap until unless you're eating European style. Uh, so there are two. They are majorly they're talking about two different styles of eating. Here is one is American and one is European. Uh, what happens is with the one major difference between the American style and the European style is in the American style, the fork you you know the what happens is the fork which is in your left hand, you keep shifting that fork to your right hand to jab the food and eat. So what happens is you will jab the food with your fork, cut it with your knife, you will put the knife onto the plate, then this fork gets shifted onto your right hand, and then you will pick the food and eat it. So that is American style. In European style, what happens is you will cut the food with your knife and jab the food with your fork in your left hand, and you will eat with that fork. So this knife never leaves your right hand, right? So in American style, what is happening? This knife, you will leave it on the table. You will shift the fork from your right hand, sorry, from your left hand to your right hand, and then you will jab the food and eat. Okay, so that's difference between European and American. In American, the the fork gets shifted from left to right. In European, the fork never gets shifted from left to right. In Indian style, it stays in your left hand. You will eat with your left hand. In American, it shifts to your right hand. Okay, so that's main difference between European style of eating and American style of eating. Okay, now supposing you need to remove something from your mouth, a piece of bone or a piece of food that possibly you may not want to ingest or so what you do, you will use the same implement, usually a fork, to pick that food from your mouth and remove it and put it onto your bread and butter plate. All right. Eat at moderate speeds. Do not eat too fast, too slow. Try and maintain the pace as far as all other people are concerned, and watch the host also. So don't be a finisher at the first. Though it's not a race. It's a formal meet. Everyone eats together. So please understand the type of speed that everyone is eating at. Do not speak too fast. Do not eat too fast or too slow. So either don't get left behind, because what happens once everyone has finished, other people have finished, the plates will get removed. So you will be left hungry. And please also don't be a finisher first. So you are just looking at other people you have finished. You can maintain some polite dinner conversation if you want. Never take medicines at the table. You may excuse yourself. You may excuse yourself and take medicine separately. And you must leave the table. Place your nap. In case you have to leave the table, so what you do, this napkin which is on your lap. Okay, so in case you need to leave the table, what you do, you simply just fold it in a very simple fold. You don't need to fold it back the way that the restaurant wait staff had done it, and you can leave it on the side of your chair. Okay, or you can leave it on the chair. So that's how you must leave your napkin in case you need to leave the table to go to the washroom or wherever if you've not finished. Okay, we will need to still show you how once you've finished, these are the silent codes that are sent out to the wait staff that have I finished or have I not finished. So we'll show you these silent codes that you send out to wait staff to let them know that you have finished your food or you're still eating the food, or you are uh, or you have finished the food so that they can clear the plate. The host or the person who has issued the invitation pays. In fact, even if it's a lady, whoever has invited you, who has the host, is actually going to pay. You're not going to pay. And in case you're paying the bill, handle it with wait person as discreetly as possible. As a host, please handle it with a wait person without letting other people know that what you're paying and how much you're paying and whatever it is. So if you're a host and you're paying the bill, please handle it discreetly. As you depart the table, refold your napkin. Again, that once you are leaving, you finish the meal. So when you're leaving the table, again you must refold your napkins in a simple fold and leave it to the left of your plate setting, which is on the table. So you can leave it now on the table, on the left of the table, or where that you are sitting. Okay. General rules for tipping. Usually, tipping is a good idea. You may tip the people that rendered service. It could be a taxi driver. It could be some attendant somewhere. It could be somebody who has opened the door for you. It could be somebody who has carried luggage for you. So it's up to you. Somebody who's parked your vehicle, etc. So usually a small amount of tip is recommended, and sometimes in the restaurant, a 5 to 10% tip is always recommended. So usually these are now in dollars. Yes, dollars. If it is in India, you may look at about 50 rupees for small tips and 100 to 200 rupees for a bigger tip. Okay. Next is cocktail parties, work or event, maybe not social. Again, when you go to any cocktail parties, you must determine your strategies. It is, are you going to meet new people? Are you going to network with new people? Or you have to target certain people? It could be like, if you're going to a cocktail parties, you may want to speak to certain specific people. So that is what we're talking about, targets, certain known targets. So either you may want to network with new people or you may want to speak to people that you already know. So you must determine your strategy, what you want to actually do. Uh, Possibly we suggest don't hang out with friends, so people you already know. So just don't make a small group and hang out with only those friends. You should try and meet new people, or of course you should try and speak with those targets, certain people that you're anyway targeting. Uh, when you enter room, try and look around the entire room, meet people all across the room, move towards friendly faces or already formed groups. If someone enters your group, them and make introductions. So you can actually go and meet people who have already formed a group. You can go and meet people who are friends with you or whom you feel are friendly. and try and of course meet new people. That is where the networking starts, because until unless you meet people who you do not know, that is why a lot of cocktail parties are actually organized. So as a person, you can actually create new friends, new networks, etc. So try and meet new people. Do not just be confined to people that you actually know. And if some new person enters your group, if supposing you're already a group of 5 or 6 people, somebody enters your group, please greet them and try and introduce everyone in the group. So that's a good etiquette, that you introduce whenever someone comes, you introduce everyone in the group, or everyone in the group introduce themselves to this person. In cocktail parties, go to the food table first, easiest place to start conversations. Uh, Stand in the middle of room or near the food table, stay away from walls. So maybe you may not choose a corner, so try and stay somewhere in the middle of the room where everyone can connect with you, you can connect with everyone. Maybe because everyone will anyway come to eat, so maybe you can pick a place closer to the food table, where so that you can meet everyone. So now in a big hall, what happens is there are a lot of corners that you can pick up. So what happens if you pick up a corner, so you stand at that corner all by that small group, and you cannot, nobody sees you and you do not see anybody. So that is one reason why you should stand in the middle of a room, or maybe a place where, which is going to be frequently visited by the people. So that is where it is suggested as a food table. Food table is where the food is laid out. So you picked up a place where everyone is going to anyway come, or everyone is going to notice you, and you're going to notice everyone. So pick up a good place where everyone, you can be seen by and you can see everybody. Of course, learn how to hold napkin, plate, and glass in one hand, because this is a cocktail party, may not be a sit-down party. We just done something that where you were sitting in a restaurant, but here you're not sitting. You must now learn to also hold napkins, plates, and glass in hand. Try and keep one hand free to shake hands. Do not overdrink, do not overindulge in alcohol, do not overdrink or do not consume too much of alcohol. And we suggest you understand alcohol before you actually start drinking alcohol. So understanding alcohol means different drinks. Now take a little while here. Different beverages. For example, whiskey, gin, rum, vodka. These are on the hard side, which have 43%, usually 43% alcohol, which is about every 100 milliliter of that liquid. 43 is absolute or 100% alcohol. Now there is a difference. There is beer is concerned. Beer is between 5% to 8% alcohol, depending upon strong beer and mild beers. Mild beers could be just up to about 5%. And on the stronger beers, now you have a lot of strong beers which are about 8% alcohol. So now you understand it is the alcohol which actually causes you become what you call tipsy, or you become outflowing, etc., etc. So if you can count how much alcohol that you're drinking, so if you've taken one glass of beer, it may not be equal to one glass of wine or one glass of whiskey, right? So understand how much alcohol they're consuming and how much alcohol is present in each drink. Wines, on the other hand, have alcohol content of about 12%. So they are much stronger than your beer in terms of content of alcohol. So one glass of beer is not equal to one glass of wine. So usually we serve about 150 milliliters in one glass, in one serve, and as far as this is concerned, about 300 to 350 milliliters of beer. So when you have actually consumed one portion of wine, if served by a wait staff at 150 milliliters, and at the same time 300 to 350 milliliters of beer, it is actually comes out to be the same in terms of alcohol, terms of alcohol that you have consumed. So, and alcohol takes time to get metabolized by your body. So, you must drink slowly, you must not drink fast, and limit your alcohol intake. So, otherwise, what is going to happen? We all know what's actually going to happen. We may fall sick, we may create scenes at the dinner party or at the cocktail party, we may start vomiting, we may start falling, maybe talking loudly or inappropriate behavior, etc., etc. So do not overindulge in alcohol. Understand your drinks, even in terms of cocktails. A lot of cocktails, when they are actually a mix of different uh, liqueurs. So understand what is the amount of alcohol which is gone in one drink. So a person who may be drinking something else may consume more in terms of the glasses. If you're consuming a stronger drink, you may not be able to have too many of those same glasses in those terms of number of drinks. So please understand each drink individually. Understand what goes with you. Everyone may not be, every liqueur may not go with everyone. So one, you may be comfortable drinking maybe a whiskey, somebody may be comfortable drinking vodka, some may be comfortable drinking wine, some may be comfortable drinking beer. So understand what goes well with you, number one. Number two is understand the strength of alcohol in each drink. Number three, understand the time factor. It is the time is required by your body to metabolize alcohol. So too much alcohol in a short period of time will make you go out of your senses. So sometimes you may be able to drink three drinks, but the time that you require to uh, burn that alcohol is there. So in three drinks, possibly if you've taken three drinks over a period of 2.5 hours or 3 hours, nothing may happen to you. But if you take those three drinks in a short span of time, say about half an hour or 1 hour, you may feel sick, you may feel there may be loss of senses, and you may feel tipsy. So understand there's a time factor also, there is the strength factor of the alcohol also, and especially what you actually eat, with your drinks. So it is always important to eat something with your drinks. So do not just consume drinks on their own. So what we suggest, drink moderately, understand your drinks, eat with your drinks, give time to your body to metabolize alcohol, and stay safe uh, uh, in the cocktail parties. And do not mix, beverages. In terms, sometimes you're drinking beers, and at the same time, you now start drinking whiskey. Now you leave whiskey and you start drinking vodka. You stop drinking vodka and you start drinking wine. So sometimes, in the same party, if you're consuming different varieties of beverages, it may cause you uh, problems, it may cause you sickness, it may cause you to go out of your senses. So stick your drink that the body accepts, and everyone has a different type of a body. So please do not get into any competition. So if somebody is possibly consuming four drinks, so you are trying to compete with him, no, please, no. Everyone has an individual body, everyone has an individual capacity to maybe consume alcohol and tolerate alcohol. So you understand your own body. Somebody may be very comfortable with one or two drinks, somebody can be comfortable even with three or four drinks. So it is not a competition, it is about your own body, it is about your own self. And as far as your own body is concerned, can I take one drink comfortably, can I take two drinks comfortably? And always understand that different factors are always there at play. So if it is a small time gathering, so it doesn't mean that I can take three drinks in that time, because time is very important, because that is one thing that body requires to metabolize alcohol. So it is not that I need to drink three drinks in that small time. Sometimes we gather only for a small time, half an hour. So maybe one drink is enough. Sometimes we gather for 2 hours. So you may take even three drinks. So there is no formula as far as the number of drinks you can consume in a party. So understand alcohol, how alcohol is metabolized in the body, how much alcohol can make you sick, and which brands are acceptable to you. So do not overindulge in alcohol. And when you are in a party, try and meet different groups, try and meet different people. Do not just stick along with one group and one corner. Okay, whenever that you are making conversations, there are three different distinct parts of that conversation. In cocktail parties or any gatherings, there is a opening of that conversation, there's some content, and then you say thank you and move away. So an opener could be, hi, how are you, how's the weather, or how's this, and then it's just usually an opener, and then you get into some middle talk, Maybe you can talk about some contract. You can talk about something which is what work that you project that you're working on. Maybe you can ask what project other people are working on. Maybe you can talk about a product that your company is launching, things like that. So that could be something in the middle, and then complete your conversation, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, and then you thank those people, and you move to another group, other set of people. Okay? So here, these are some openers, top openers for you. Compliment, whether you can pay a compliment. Compliment is that's a nice dress that you're wearing, that's a nice watch that you're wearing, that's uh, that's a nice pair of shoes, or that's whatever. So that's a compliment that you're paying to somebody. So everyone likes compliments, and everyone actually enjoys being complimented. So um, it is a good tip that you can actually a good etiquette that you can actually use to open a conversation by compliments to somebody. You may talk about the weather, you may talk about the good food that is being served here at the party, you may talk about some current event which is happening in the country or in the world, right? So here is a sentence that is there. I love your hairstyle, I love your shirt that you're wearing, right? So something like that. So that's a compliment. Maybe in a group, please understand how that group is behaving and try and possibly which say something that everyone gets interested in. So it pertains to everyone. It's not like in a group, two of you are talking and other people are just listening to your talk. So try and involve everyone. And if somebody who is not too much to you, which are called casual acquaintances, you may just use general comments and general things. May not talk about yourself or company or things like that. So if that's a casual acquaintance, general comments. Maybe you can talk about how has things been, or general talk that you can. Okay. Now you come. That is in terms of the starting. Now you come to the middle of the talk when conversation is not developed. The safe topics that you can choose are sports, books, movie, theater, art. You can ask, listen, with ask again questions that you want to ask, and try and be more interested than interesting, which means like do not hog the limelight. So it's like you are the one who's only talking, talking, talking. So people are more getting interested in you. Just also be more interested in other people than yourself being so interesting in terms of you are grabbing the entire limelight. Try and not spend more than 10 minutes in one place. Try and keep moving from place to place, people to people, groups to groups. Uh, so how can you move away? When you're moving away, you could actually use some of those sentences. It's not like, oh, okay, thank you so much, I'm going. So maybe, you may say, okay, I just do not want to take up with your entire time. So that is the sentence that we say, I do not want to monopolize you to take your entire time. I'm going to meet other people. So you can use some of those sentences when you are moving away from group. Before you go, you let them know that you enjoyed their company. So I enjoyed being here. I enjoyed speaking with you. So something that when before you depart, you must let people know that you enjoyed their company and discuss where you are going. Maybe next with your group. So maybe okay, I'm going for food. Let's go. Let me go and pick another drink. Let's go for another drink, etc. Or let's go and meet these people. So discuss your next step with your group also. Sometimes you can suggest the group to move to people also. So or you can suggest the group to move towards food or maybe for another drink. So discuss next step. Okay. So some telephone etiquette and email etiquette and some more office etiquette. We will show you how to cut food, how to handle knives, how to handle forks, etc. So we just switch to the other view. Are you able to see this knife and fork? Okay. So
Yes.
yeah. So this is a way of handling knife in your right hand. Okay, you see a grip like pen grip. Okay, so it is not like this. तो ये हम चाकू मारने नहीं आए हैं. So this is how you will handle from the middle part knife. All right, this is in your right hand, and same with the fork in left hand. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is the way that we are handling the fork, and this is the way that we are handling the knife. So if this is a food, you will jab that food with your fork. छुपा के रखेंगे. होता क्या है कि जब हम उसको काटना शुरू करते हैं ना, तो it tends to fly off the plate. तो ऐसे काटना शुरू कर देंगे तो क्या होगा कि there are chances that the food will fly off the plate. तो सबसे पहले क्या करेंगे हम? You will jab food onto the plate. तो हम उसको रोक के रखेंगे, उसमें फोक को थोड़ा सा गाड़ेंगे उसके अंदर, ठीक है? And then you will cut a small piece using this knife like this. Okay, we will handle this knife, and then like this we will cut a small piece, and then now ये तो हमने पूरा फूड को नीचे दबा के रखा हुआ था. We have cut a small piece which is now on the right hand side. You will leave the food here, and then you will jab this cut piece and you will bring it to your mouth. Okay, so that is how you will actually use a fork and a knife in European style. In American style, what happens is you will cut the food, you will leave the knife, then you will take the knife in your right hand, jab the food, and you bring it to the food to your mouth. So in European style, this doesn't leave your left hand. So it stays in your left hand like this. You cut the food. So that is European style. Okay. Now, different signs that we send out to the wait staff. Now, look at the plate like a clock. So this is 12 o'clock position. This is 6 o'clock, 9. This is 3. When you talk about minutes, this is 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, right? So what we do is when we are still in the middle of the meal, you will leave your knife and fork like this with the distance in between. Okay. So it shows the staff that yes, you're still in the middle of the meal. When you finish the meal, you will lay it as 4 o'clock position on this side and 10 o'clock position on this side. So basically 10:20 means this is 20 and this is 10 this is 10 actually. So it's a little confusing. So you can actually say 4. This is actually 4 p.m. This is 4 and that is 10. So when you lay your cutlery side by side in this position, 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. position, or 4 and 10 side by side, no gap in between, it refers to that I have finished my meal. All right. So these are silent communications that you send out to the wait staff that I have finished my meal. Europeans actually will leave their fork other way flipped. So Americans will leave it like this, and Europeans will leave it like that. So there's only one difference here as far as Europeans and Americans are concerned. Only the fork is turned over, but it is in the same position. Okay, anybody has any questions so far as dining etiquette is concerned? We would be very happy to answer your questions if you have any.
Yes, students, any questions so far? You can
Yes,
unmute.
sir.
Yes, Vika, please continue.
Good afternoon, sir. So if
Yeah, good.
the host, yes, sir, if the host planned something in non-veg like meat, and
Right.
in the meat, the bone marrow also came, sir. So, sir, how we can use the bone marrow spoon in front of our other staff, sir, so that it would not look clumsy?
All right. So number one, see, normally what happens is uh, in very formal meetings, the bone marrow is not usually consumed. Okay. So it is just left as it is. So there is no, or you may it is very difficult. Otherwise, you can try and pick it from your fork in case the bone is wide enough. And the fork can possibly enter that bone. Then you can maybe try and pick it out with your onto the with your you can hold the bone in your hand and try and scrape it out using your fork. But if you are suggesting that in a very formal meeting that you will put the bone to your mouth and then you will try and extract that bone marrow, it is a no-no. You can, and it is always, even if there is sometimes, there's meat on the bone. So you will try and pick out that meat using knife and fork. And it's okay to leave a little bit meat on the bone also.
Okay,
But
sir.
then,
Thank you.
yeah, but then we will not pick up the bone and try and put the bone in our mouth and then try and extract the bone marrow. You can try and scrape it with your fork onto your plate and then consume it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, any question?
Yes, any other questions? Yes, Ankita, please go ahead.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I wanted to ask if, like this, many times, or I should say, it is a rare case that someone is having eating habit of means eating habit ki, uh, with the with left hand instead of right hand. He want he or she have a habit of having food with the left hand. So will that look awkward to the host or the guest? Means some, it is a rare case, but it is seen that
No, it
key
is
person
not
is.
going to look odd. It's not going to look odd. For people who are left-handed, you can use the cutlery other way around. It is nothing is
Yes, sir.
odd in if you are left-handed in nature, you can use it the other way around. Not a problem.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Any other
Yes,
question?
any other
Yeah.
doubt?
No, ma'am.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay, very good.
Yes,
We will go on to the next part,
sure, sir.
which is on office etiquettes,
Yes,
now
sir.
in terms of emails and phone calls.
Right, sir.
So email etiquettes, as far email etiquettes are concerned, today happens is a lot of work is done on emails, and a lot of people are not able to handle their emails in a required etiquette. So now we also given an acronym to email, so we'll just stands for email only those people who your message actually pertains to. So do not just send out to a large group of people just for the sake of, because it doesn't cost you anything. So just include lot of names there and send out it as a mass or a chain letters. So email only those selected people whom for whom that message is intended to. All right. Then answer your mails and messages promptly, which is usually most of the companies will have stipulated time limits which pertain to how late, how maximum time that is there to respond to email. So which is usually email should be responded number on first come first serve basis first of all, until unless there is an urgent email or somebody an email which requires more attention or marked as on high priority. So until unless you receive an email which is either marked on high priority or maybe from a very senior person, otherwise usually they are supposed to be responded on first come basis. So whichever mail has come in first has to be responded back first, right? And as far as time frame is concerned, understand the time frames laid out by your company. Usually it is good manners to reply within the same business day, which is like we say that if you received email like today, it should be answered by before the end of business day today and not later than 24 hours, right? Or whatever your company policy let defines. So make a point to responding messages promptly. Ensure that the spellings in your email are correct and your email is grammatically correct. So always use, possibly you can use spell check, which is provided by your email service provider. You always try and use a spell check before you send out that mail, so that if there are any spelling mistakes that can be corrected, and recheck your grammar before sending out your message. Your message should be brief and clear and specific. Okay, so E stands for email only those people, make a point. A stands for always use spell check. I stands for include your telephone numbers in your message. Try and include telephone numbers in your message so that people can reach out to you directly in case of any doubt or any clarification. Sometimes telephone works far better than sending out emails, right? And L stands for learn that email should be used only for business rather than personal use. Do not send anything that you wouldn't want to see in public, which means keep your emails polite. Do not use any abusive, harsh, or any such language which is demeaning or something that you would not want to see yourself in a public billboard or something like that. So it should be polite. It should not be very loud. It should not have any abusive languages or wrong words, etc. So E stands for email those people whom you are messages, whom you intend to send your message. Do not include the names of other people. So what happens is we are only trying to fill other mailboxes for no reason. So supposing I am sending out email. If I include 100 people, 100 people will receive my email. I am only just trying to make their emails or email folder bulky for no reason. So you will only waste time to read my email for no reason. It doesn't. You're not even intended. It has no meaning for you also. So that is one reason why you should only send out to the people only who are concerned with that email. All right. Make a point of responding to messages promptly. Please ensure that you follow the company policy. It's always first first mails are replied first, and that order. Try and complete your emails, which is responding to your same business day that has been received, and not later than 24 hours. And mails which are marked on priority given. Mails coming from higher authorities should be given priority. Ensure that the email has no spelling mistakes and the grammar is correct. The message is short and clear to the point. Try and include your telephone numbers and and understand that email should be used for business purpose, not for personal. That is on email. Then we talk about telephone manners. As far as telephones are concerned, number one, when you answer the telephone, first of all, the first thing is answer phone calls promptly. Usually, we say that you should answer phone calls within 3 rings. So if your phone starts ringing, you should be able to pick up the call within 3 rings. So I'll call promptly. Your opening sentences should be a greeting as per the standard of the laid out by the company. Usually it is the name of the company or your name along with a greeting. So it could be Namaskar Radisson Blue Hotel Greater Noida. I also use Namaskar Vikas because I identify myself as a person to the caller is speaking to. So answer the phone with your name and company or department along with a greeting. Uh, when placing calls, जब आप किसी को call करते हैं, when placing calls, state your name and company or department immediately when phone is answered. So, supposing I am calling you, you pick up my phone. I say I am Vikas Gupta from Radisson Blue Hotel, Greater Noida. So you have already introduced rather than asking who are you, other person asking who or she is speaking to. So introduce yourself as a caller to the person whom you have called. Speak clearly, state the purpose of your call. Use now. There's another thing is a lot of people use speakerphones. They feel very comfortable using speakerphones. Please do not use speakerphones because the caller may not be aware that he or she is can be heard by other people. Uh, and it is not right that that other person who is actually on the other side not aware. Either you let the person know that you are on the speakerphone, and these are the people who also can hear you, who are also around you. Especially a lot of places you will see in a lot of offices there are only cubicles and there are no cabins. So, especially in cubicles, you know, you will be disturbing other places, sorry, other people, your office colleagues, which who are working close, you know, who are also working next to you. So, do not use speakerphones and use only speakerphones for conference. And in case you are using a speakerphone, let the person know who all can hear you and the person is on a speakerphone. Please do not just use speakerphone because it is comfortable to you. Always smile when using the phone. Say please and thank you. Be courteous. Judge your audience before making a small talk. And in case you have not been able to answer any of the calls that have come to you, please respond or return back the calls that you can see from the list of your missed calls. So be uh, be polite to return any calls that have been unanswered. So just summarizing these telephone manners, we will pick up the phone promptly. Number one, we will identify ourselves clearly using our name of the company, etc. We will go out of our way to help people. When placing calls, we will also identify ourselves, uh, and we will not use speakerphone uh, until unless for conference calls or without informing the other person on the other side that we are using a speakerphone. All right. We will have a smile on our face when we are talking on the phone. We will be courteous. We will use words like please and thank you. And of course, you must judge your audience before making small talk. It's not that you're not aware about the audience and you make any small talks. And any calls that you are not able to answer, please return those calls. All right. So, voicemail, mobile phone use. Now, a lot of places you will see voicemail also, and as far as mobile phones, how you should use mobile phones, etc., in the offices uh, and in various meetings, uh, and you understand how to leave an adequate voice message in case somebody is not able to answer the phone. You can leave a voice message for the person. Understand how to leave an adequate voice message. Nowadays, you have a voice message that you will leave on WhatsApp and other places also, and you can send out those voice messages as well. There's sometimes offices will have their own voice messaging facility where you can choose a voicemail and leave a message on the voicemail. In case a voicemail facility is available, you must also check voicemails frequently so that you are aware what voicemail messages have come. Again, we had spoken previously, avoid using mobile phones during in the restaurant, movie, church, or meeting, or in a temple if, when you're praying or something like that. So you're disturbing other people when you're using it in such places. Limit your conversations when in close places, when other people are there. So limit your conversation. You should maybe not have long conversations when other people can hear you, or when you are possibly in your office places or other places with a lot of people. So limit your conversation and use a quiet voice. Don't be too loud on the phone so that other people can hear you. You use very quiet. And of course, do not give any OTPs, credit card numbers, etc. on the phone. Anyway, RBI and all banks have been telling you, please, please, please do not share any personal and sensitive data on the phone. If anybody is asking you, please do not give out your credit card numbers, bank details, OTPs, passwords, etc. Come what may, please, nothing like that. And refrain, of course, using phones while you are driving. Okay, some office etiquettes, be self-aware, use common sense, mind your own business. So do not poke your nose into other people's talks, what they are doing, how they are doing their work, things like that. Just mind your own business. Please do not get into other people's work or other people's talk or things like that. Just mind your own business. Do not put very strong perfumes so that it actually disturbs a lot of other people. If you're wearing a perfume, we suggest you wear a deodorant because you want to smell good. We do not want you to smelling, off smells or something like that, because at times when you sweat, you start smelling. So wear a light, mild deodorant, which is doesn't have a very strong fragrance. Uh, Never go out of a way over your supervisor's head. So whatever your supervisor or your manager has said, do not jump to the next level. That is what we are saying. So never go over your supervisor's head. So whoever is your supervisor doesn't mean that you can go to the manager and talk about other things. So, sir, I have done this or I have done that, etc., etc. So your supervisor is your supervisor. Do not jump over your obey your company's business dress attire, whatever your company has in terms of specified your grooming etiquette. So please follow those grooming etiquettes of the company. Keep your germs to yourself, which means if you're not well, please do not come for work, right? That is what they're saying. Keep your germs to yourself. If you're ill, if you have flu, things like that. I think the 2 years that the COVID has been resurgent in the country has taught more on the germs, so that if you're that you isolate yourself and do not come to the come for work if you're not well. So a lot of people who are sometimes having flu and other such symptoms can actually spread to other people in the company and other people uh, in your workplace. So please, whenever that you're not well, take leave, rest, and keep other people safe as well. Treat every employee with the same respect. Do not post things of an offensive nature. No matter your job or your title, always hold yourself to a higher standard. So it doesn't matter even if you are lower in the rank or lower in the career. So or in terms of a title, but always hold your high esteem and do your work in of a higher standard. Your performance should be on of a higher standard. Follow all that is grooming, etc. In terms of how you talk, how you walk, what you wear, and so it doesn't matter even if you're at a lower level. So if you think that only managers are supposed to dine this or managers are supposed to speak like this, managers are supposed to groom like this, no. Even if you're not a manager, then follow all these etiquette in terms of how you talk, how you walk, etc., etc. Okay, 12 things that you should not do. These are the 12 commandments of the cubicle etiquette. So cubicles, see, most of the offices nowadays do not have individual offices. It's a shared space, so it's just a small, dividing, what do you call, a small dividing. It's not even a wall actually. So it's just a divider between one person and another person. In fact, you can hear, you can see other person as well. You can see maybe everyone in the room also. So 12 commandments of etiquette, what you should not be doing, 12 things that you should not be doing. You shall not enter another person's cubicle unless you are invited. किसी के दूसरे cubicle में नहीं. You should not enter someone who is on telephone by using sign language or any other means of communication. You should think twice before interrupting someone who appears to be deep in thought. Maybe कोई सो रहा है या फिर कोई अपना कुछ सोच रहा है. You should not interrupt. You should be aware of how your voice projects. So it means when you're talking on the phone or something like that, or you're talking somebody across to your colleague, you should be aware how your tone of voice is very important. You should realize that speaker phones and cubicles don't mix. Again, it's the same thing that we just discussed. People should not use speakers. You should not discuss a confidential matter in a cubicle setting. So something which is very confidential, you should move away to a meeting room where you can discuss that confidential matter. So you will not discuss any confidential matter in a cubicle. You should realize that everything that you say makes an impression on your internal customers. Internal customers and external customers. Now, internal customers are your office colleagues. Those are called internal customers. External customers are people who are coming from outside your organization. You shall not make or receive personal telephone calls during work day. So usually personal calls, you should not make personal calls or receive personal calls. In case there is a personal call, you can excuse yourself from the cubicle and maybe move away to take any of those personal calls. But you should not take too many. You should not make it a habit of too many personal calls, either coming or making too many personal calls. So it can be maybe once in a while, which is urgent, or something, which is very much there. Then, of course, you can make a personal call, you can receive a personal call, and you should try and excuse yourself from the cubicle setting and receive your personal calls little away from the cubicle setting where other people can hear you. You shall not establish eye contact with someone when you would prefer not to be interrupted. ठीक है, तो अगर हम नहीं चाहते कि हम कोई मुझे इंटरप्ट करे तो हम किसी से आई कांटेक्ट नहीं बनाएंगे. If you are making eye contact, maybe that other person will disturb you, interrupt you. You shall not stand and walk towards entrance of your cubicle when you would like an impromptu meeting short. So it's impromptu means which is just happened out of schedule. So you shall not stand and walk towards the entrance of your cubicle when you would like an impromptu meeting short. So ऐसा नहीं है कि कोई मीटिंग आप मीटिंग में से आप निकल जाओ. कई बार हो जाता है कि कोई मीटिंग अचानक कॉल कर ली जाती है, तो ऐसा नहीं है कि आप निकल के चले जाओ. Thou or you shall recognize your cubicle is a direct reflection of you. Keep it neat and orderly. So a lot of people will decorate their cubicle. They will put up some small, some notes or some sayings. They put up some nice picture or nice photograph, things like that. And they will also keep it in good order, neat and clean. So you shall recognize that your cubicle is a direct reflection of you. So if it is not tidy, if it is not clean, people will take a reflection of your cubicle about you. So we must ensure that our cubicle is always kept neat and clean. Especially when you're leaving for the day, you should try and put back all files, all documents into the drawers and leave it nice, neat and clean. And even throughout the day, you can try and maintain it with some nice colors. You put it on, notices the small display boards which are there, and maybe a coat or something like that. It's an interesting cubicle. So people take reflection of you and they recognize you from your cubicle. Okay, so those are the 12 commandments, and then we get into the very quickly into meeting etiquette. whenever there's a boardroom meeting or there's a meeting between 10, 15 people, so when you're going to attend a meeting, this is what you should be doing. Always have your calendar, notepad, notebook, and pen. So please always carry these things to a meeting. Now, when we say calendar, it is a schedule for the day. So that is what we are referring to. Always have your calendar. It's a schedule for your day. So also maybe for the next week. So that is called a calendar. Usually we will either have our own calendar nowadays in your even iPhone. People will log dates and time in your calendar so that you know at what time what we'll be doing in terms of meeting. If you fix the meeting with a client or something, it's there in your calendar. So in case, or if you've already scheduled a meeting with somebody, it is already there. So when you go to a meeting, if there is a new schedule or some, if they would like to hold another meeting or something like that, you are aware which times or which days that you are free. So always have a calendar, notebook, and pen. Never bring up personal problems, issues in professional situations. So if you in your professional situation, don't say my wife is not well or my mother is not well. Things like that. So never bring up personal problems, issues in a professional meeting. Avoid you talk means I am saying this or I am this. So avoid you talk, which is stay on schedule. So if the meeting is for half an hour, so stay on schedule. If conference rooms hang back until power players have taken seats and the middle seats are end and middle seats tables are power seats. Now power seats basically refer to as the top people who are there. So uh, so you must stay back in the meeting rooms till people, those power players or those people have are seated, have taken their seats. And number two, when the end seats, you can identify which are the seats that are reserved for these people. So usually either they are in the middle or at the end. So these are the two usually seats that are usually you will see that uh, you know the people who are addressing you may be sitting at the end, which is at the end of the table. So maybe on one side of the table and the other people around them. Okay, or they are in the middle and people are around them. So they could be at one end or they could be in the middle. So these are the seats which are for the key people, which are known as power seats. Okay. So those are meeting etiquettes. Then office romance. Now a lot of people this, but yes, this is as far as we've come to work for in an office and maybe not for a romance and things like that. A lot of workplaces will have a dedicated policy on what males and females can do in the company, and that is referred to as prevention of sexual harassment at workplace. So, what is a no-no? Dating a supervisor subordinate is a behavior of sexual nature on company property gives company for legal action. Be aware about this policy; it is there. So, it the company can take legal action against you as a person. So be aware about office romance and all these things that you can do at the can or you cannot do at the office. And offices, all companies have a policy on this. So be aware about that policy. When traveling abroad, etiquettes abroad, whenever you need to travel abroad, we anyway told you that yes, you need to understand the cultural nonsenses of the particular country. So nuances are those small finesse that are required to know that are required there. So nuances you understand is those are the finer touches. As times like if you need to bow while you greet people, like in Japan, you will see that they need to bow when you are greeting people. So you understand the cultural nuances of the particular country. And of course, before you go, do your homework, prepare for that region that you are traveling to, and please understand the protocols which are being followed in that country for any such issues. What are their protocols? How you can solve any of the issues, and what are the protocols these come that are being followed in that country. So before you travel abroad, these are things that you need to do your homework on. So we have finished our office etiquettes. As if you have any questions, we are open to your questions also.
Yes, students, any questions from your side? You can unmute yourself. Yes, Sukanya, please go ahead.
Sir, initially when you were directing us regarding the interview where we have to make eye contact, so if we consider
Yes.
a situation where there is a panel of 4 members and one of them has asked
Yes.
asked me a question, and while answering, should I just focus on him or her while making eye contact, or should I like look at all of them and then again come back to him while answering, or should I uh, slightly, not constantly staring, but yes, should I like move my eyes around all of them, or should I be concentrating on him particularly?
Okay, good question. Now, first of all, we must understand the group dynamics. In a group, whenever that you're in a group, you must try and maintain eye contact with everybody. Now, your question now, first of all, when that you are in a group, when somebody is asked you a question, yes, the major eye contact you will make with the person who has asked you a question, but at the same time, you will still address other people in the group. So, largely, yes, you will maintain eye contact with the person, but in between, you will shift from that person to other people also. So that's very important that you maintain eye contact with all the people in the group.
Okay, sir.
Yes, any other questions? I hope no no more questions, sir. Okay,
Yes,
thank you
ma'am.
so much, sir. Yes, Shubham, you want to ask something?
No, ma'am, no questions, ma'am.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, thank you so much, sir, for your insightful session. And you have covered of workplace etiquettes and social graces very comprehensively. And I strongly believe that after this session, my students will be able to adjust themselves in their workplaces and in social gatherings in a better way. And these etiquettes may look very small, but it creates a great impact. Thank you so much, sir. And on behalf of Training and Placement Cell, sir, I convey my deep regards to you for your valuable time, sir. And looking forward to such more sessions, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, and thank you all the students for listening so patiently in this session. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you can directly also reach out to me. The details are with your Mrs. Tiwari also, Dr. Tiwari.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I have. I will forward, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And thank you, everyone.
All right, can I leave the meeting with your permission?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
All right, thank you so much. Have a nice day ahead.